As we have been looking through some of my most respected artists and their portfolios online, I hope you've noticed that their work is clearly identifiable as their work. If you look at Martin Straka's photography page here, you can see that there's a wide variety of topics and kind of themes in his work, but it is clearly recognizable as his own. He has a strong brand, right? And brand sounds like a businessy word that can sound gross to artists. What it means is that it basically means style, right? Recognizable style. So he has a strong brand that allows me as a viewer to see his work and know that he did it. I don't think that Martin Straka sees his brand as limiting, right? I don't think that any artist with a clearly developed style thinks that they're limited by that style. It actually frees you as an artist. And I'll tell you why. Because when you have a strong brand, clients who would like to hire you can go to your portfolio and see what they're going to get when they hire you. And it's important for them to feel confident that you can produce the results they want. And the results they want are what you've done in the past. So don't shy away from developing a strong brand for yourself. In this video, we are going to work together to answer the questions on the downloadable worksheet. So get that now before moving on, and we're going to go through each of these questions together. This is going to help you establish your style and discover what really means the most to you as an artist and what kind of art you want to create. So let's go to that worksheet now. The first section here with questions is called Instinct. And this is all about your intrinsic motivation as an artist. So the first question here is, what is your message? What do you as an artist want to say? Now, it can get really easy to overthink some of these questions. It doesn't have to be that complicated. For myself, my message is usually that I want to express the more upbeat and colorful side of myself in art. I really like doing that. I really like focusing on the positive and telling a story that helps people have a little bit better of a day. That's my message. So think about what yours is. It could be anything, and it might take you some time to really discover what this is. And you could go through this worksheet today and then go back tomorrow and have completely different answers. That's fine. Whatever you do get today, really think about that and then allow that to inspire your final project for this course. So the second question on Instinct is, what are you good at? As we've gone through these composite images, you might have had some things that have really kind of been roadblocks for you, whether they're tools within Photoshop. Don't allow these to stop you from getting better. But if you have found that you really have a knack for certain types of work, then follow that, right? If you enjoy it, follow it and see where that can take you. Because usually we're not just born with a knack for something. I mean, sometimes we are, but there's a reason for that. And it's usually because we like doing that thing, so that when there are drawbacks, that we push through them because we enjoy doing it, right? So if you like singing and you're 3 years old, you're going to sing all the time. And as you grow up, everyone's going to say, wow, you're so naturally talented. I think there is some truth to that, but overall, you don't have to be born with a talent for singing. You develop that talent as you practice and practice. And to a 3-year-old, it doesn't feel like practice, right? They just love doing it. And so that's why sometimes people can say, it just comes naturally to me. Again, there is truth to that, but what comes naturally to you is usually what you enjoy. Okay, so keep that in mind as you answer this question. The third question for this section is, what captivates you? So as we've been looking through other art or just in life, what you see, what do you think about all the time? If you're not doing anything, if you don't have any distractions or any people around, what do you think about? That's usually a great place to start because it's who you truly are without outside motivation. Okay, so if you've answered these questions, let's move on to the second section called inspiration. What resonates with you? So when you see artwork and you're trying to interpret meaning through the artwork, what do you usually get out of it? 100 different people could see one piece of work and get 100 different meanings from it. So what is your tendency to want to see in work? I always want to see a brighter side of the world. So when I look at art, I'm usually, even if it's dark and really like artsy stuff that can be so abstract, I usually end up thinking that really uplifted me. I love how positive that artist was. Even if that wasn't their intention at all, that's what I get from it because that's what I want to get from it. So what are you getting from your artistic inspiration? And that can be a huge factor or a huge, I guess, revelation to yourself in what you really click with. And then the second question here is who inspires you? So we've talked about some of my inspirations, right? If you go on Behance and do some digging, you're going to find so many artists that might not even be the most popular artists on there, but you get them, right? You're like, wow, this person is speaking to me and what they're saying, I feel, or it's just like, I love how good they are at their work. So think about that. Who inspires you? And then the last question here is, who could you spend your whole day studying? So I could look at Martin Strunke's work forever. I love it. It's so detailed, and I'm obsessed with it. Eric Johansson's another one. I love looking at their work because I never get tired of it. And it's always kind of fresh to me. Whatever mood I have at the moment, when I see their work, I can project that mood onto it and see something completely new. And that usually is a good indicator of, what your own style could be or what type of work you want to create. Then the last section for this worksheet is critique. So there are two types of critique that I want you to be very aware of moving forward. So when you show your work to another person, think about what feedback you get from trusted sources. So that could be like another artist that you look up to. What do they think about your work? What does a close friend who understands you on a personal level think of your work? And then open it up to the public. What does the public think about your work? And receive feedback from these groups, but separate that feedback because mass appeal isn't necessarily what you're going for, but it's important to know where you stand. So when you post to the Facebook group for this course, for example, the critique you're receiving on your images isn't from people that you know on a personal level. So keep that in mind. Treat that as public critique. And take everything that's said on there as such. Know that these people don't know where you're coming from. And so they're just seeing your art at face value. And there is a very strong benefit to having that because most people who see, like most art you see, you don't know the backstory. You are a public viewer of that art. So that's what everyone on the Facebook group is to you. And so just understand that that's where they're coming from. They don't know you. So what they're seeing in the art is usually a better reflection of themselves than of you. But when you do have the opportunity to talk to artists that you respect or people that really understand where you're coming from, keep that in mind. Know that they have a better understanding of you as an artist, and that critique can be more easily identifiable as helpful. So go ahead and work through the questions on this worksheet on your own now, and know that it doesn't matter too much what you say. Put whatever your gut reaction is to the questions on the page. And then when you come back and revisit these questions, if you do have totally new answers, that's fine. You might need to go through a few times to find consistencies and to find where, the deepest parts of you are really coming from.